It seems foolish to have all this money lying around.
Oh, you'd rather have it down at the bank where the Jewish guys can leer at it?
Yeah, money.
Woo!
Fascinating.
It seems foolish to have all this money lying around.
Oh, you'd rather have it down at the bank where the Jewish guys can leer at it?
Yeah, money.
Woo!
Well, fascinating is a word I use for the unexpected. Fascinating.
When you don't understand something, you go like this. When you finally, if you can't bear some money anymore, you go like this. And if the person next to you is absolutely crazy, you go like this.
Tutski. No, thank you, though.
Mr. Howard, what can I bring for you on this glorious afternoon?
Well, Hector, here's the game plan. You're gonna bring us 2 absolute martinis. You know how I like them, straight up. And then precisely 7½ minutes after that, you're gonna bring us 2 more. Then 2 more after that, every 5 minutes until one of us passes the fuck out.
Excellent strategy, sir.
I'm good with water for now, though. Thank you.
It's his first day on Wall Street. Give him time. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Mr. Hanna, you're able to do drugs during the day and still function, still do your job?
How the fuck else would you do this job? Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
Right. I gotta say, I'm incredibly excited to be a part of your firm. I mean, the clients you have are absolutely...
Fuck the clients. Your only responsibility is to put meat on the table. You got a girlfriend?
I'm married. I have a wife. Her name's Teresa. She cuts hair.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Think about Teresa. Name of the game, move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
Right. But if you can make a client's money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No. Number 1 rule of Wall Street. Nobody, I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or if you're Jimmy Buffett, nobody knows if the stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in fucking circles. Least of all stockbrokers. Right? It's all a fugazi. You know what a fugazi is?
No, fugazi. It's fake.
Yeah, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
We don't create shit. We don't build anything.
No.
So if you got a client who bought stock at 8 and it now sits at 16 and he's all fucking happy, he wants to cash in, liquidate, take his fucking money and run home, you don't let him do that.
Okay.
Because that would make it real. Now, what do? You get another brilliant idea, a special idea, another situation, another stock to reinvest his earnings and then some. And he will every single time, because they're fucking addicted. And then you just keep doing this again and again and again. Meanwhile, he thinks he's getting shit rich, which he is on paper. But you and me, the brokers, we're taking home cold hard cash via commission, motherfucker.
Right. That's incredible, sir. Can't tell you how excited I am.
You should be. There's two keys to success in the broker business. First of all, you gotta stay relaxed.
Yeah.
You jerk off?
Do I jerk off? Yeah. Yeah, I jerk off, yeah.
How many times a week?
Like, three, four times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket. I myself, I jerk off at least twice a day.
Wow.
Once in the morning, right after I work out, and then once right after lunch.
Really?
Okay? I want to. That's not why I do it. I do it because I fucking need to. Think about it. You're dealing with numbers all day long. Decimal points, high frequencies, bang, bang, bang. Fucking digits. All very acidic, above the shoulders, mustard shit. Right? It kind of wakes some people out.
Right.
You gotta feed the geese to keep the blood flowing. Now keep the rhythm below the belt. This is not a tip. This is a prescription, trust me. If you don't, you will fall out of balance, split your differential, and tip the fuck over. Or worse yet, I've seen this happen, implode.
No, I don't want to implode, sir.
No, you don't.
I'm in it for the long run, you know?
Yeah, implosions are ugly.
Yeah.
Pop off to the bathroom, work one out anytime you can, and when you get really good at it, you'll fucking be stroking it, and you'll be thinking about money. Second key to success in this racket is this little baby right here. It's called cocaine.
Right.
It will keep you sharp between the ears. It'll also help your fingers dial faster. And guess what? That's good for me. Yes, sir. Revolutions. You follow?
Revolutions.
Keep the clients on the Ferris wheel. And it goes. The park is open 24/7, 365. Every decade, every goddamn century. That's it. Name of the game. How kitty?
We know Doug from his newsletter, but Doug has spent 40 years of his life as a speculator, active in the markets, buying and selling. And this presentation is mostly about speculation. And I want to start by simply defining the term. Speculation is a lot different than investing, and it's not something that we've done a lot of at Stansbury Research before. So I thought it would be best to ask someone with a lot of experience. And when it comes to speculation, nobody knows more about it than Doug Casey. Doug, thank you very much for joining us today. Can we start just with a definition? What does speculation mean, and how is it different than investing?
Well, people often conflate and confuse the two concepts, but they're very different. An investor will put a dollar someplace in order to make a real wealth grow. It's like planting a seed of corn, a whole stalk of corn with hundreds of new seeds. That's what investing is all about. It's generally a long-term process. Speculation is different.
Welcome back to Turning Hard Times into Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor, and I'm really pleased to have with me once again Doug Casey. Doug is a well-known libertarian thinker who is also a prolific writer and best-selling author, and he's also a very successful international investor. He is also a very entertaining speaker with provocative but highly valuable insights and thoughts. You can reach Doug and learn more about him at caseyresearch.com. But you're not going to want to miss these next few minutes with Doug Casey. Welcome, Doug, and thanks for joining me again. Doug, I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about an article that you recently wrote. I thought it was really quite good, actually. It was comparing the 1930s and today. First of all, thanks to the ongoing propaganda from our major media, most Americans believe that comparing the 1930s today is ridiculous. I mean, the idea is that the Federal Reserve and its ability to print endless amounts of money guarantees us avoidance of anything like the 1930s. But, of course, some of us that realize that you can't just create money by printing digits or printing paper, beg to differ with that. And I know that you certainly don't agree with the notion of printing money to prosperity. But how do you respond to that conventional wisdom? What would you tell the average Joe who comes up and says, "Well, that's just really ridiculous, Doug. We can't go into another depression"?
Well, yes. First, we want to define what a depression is, and I like to define. Well, there are several good workable definitions of a depression, and usually when people use that term, they never define it. They just expect that everybody knows what a depression is. It's kind of like the 1930s, everybody thinks. A depression is a period when most people's standard of living drops significantly, or
The Daniela and Doug show is back on the air at the Silver and Gold Conference here in San Francisco. Doug, good to have you back on Kitco News.
Well, we really have to stop seeing each other this way, Daniela.
I think so. But you know what's amazing? I've been able to really track your track record. And from last year, you were probably one of the few who said, don't be so surprised if we see a President Trump. You were saying this when people really thought Clinton was just going to sweep. So congrats on that call.
Well, I have little respect for the average intelligence of the average American voter, but I thought even they couldn't be stupid enough to elect Hillary. So, yes, I'm not a Trump backer, incidentally, and I think this is not going to end very well, but he's vastly better than what Hillary would have been. And I actually had a bet that I placed back in June with Marin Katusa on the Frank Curzio show for 100 ounces of silver, which I'm going to be collecting in January in Vancouver.
You said you thought Trump would win.
Exactly, and Marin took that bet. I should have gotten odds from him, and I thought it was a friendly bet.
He was on yesterday.
Hi everyone, this is Jason Bierk of Wall Street from Main Street. Welcome back to another Wall Street from Main Street podcast interview. Today's special guest is a returning guest. Haven't had him on in a while. Mo's interviewed him though recently. He's a best-selling author of many books, including, I think, Doug, it's the greatest investing book of all time, Crisis Investing. Is it still the number one seller of all time?
That's questionable because it certainly was when it was released, but you know, the finger writes and having written moves on.
With a swift bite to the python's head, the indigo snake subdues the hatchling, firmly holding it in its grip and blocking the prey's airway with its powerful jaws. But good nutrition has given the feisty young python enough strength to fight back its attacker. Still, the larger indigo has no problems overpowering the smaller snake. It's only a question of time until the python's energy resources have been exhausted.
Get to it when I can. And I've talked about Doug Casey in the past. And keep in mind, I have hundreds of files on people I've not talked about. It takes a long time to compile enough material on these individuals. Hundreds of files on individuals. One of the individuals I have not talked about, who's related in a business sense to Doug Casey, is named Jeff Berwick. He has this website called Dollar Vigilante. And of course, Jeff Berwick is just like Doug Casey in that, and people keep in mind, I want you to write this down so that you will not forget it. Websites, publications that are interviewing these people, that are pumping these people, that are highlighting these people, it's all the same. Gravy Train, the Gold Bug Network, you need to ban these sites. They're out to screw you. They are pumping con men. They're pumping people who want to screw you. Zero Hedge, same bullshit. They feature the same con men. It's the circle of con men. You understand? I know this because I've been watching this for a number of years. The same individuals keep appearing. Why is that? Right? It's a network. It's the flooding approach. Okay? The same guys. Now, you do have some portions of disagreement in some things. For instance, this whole gold pumping movement, you're going to have some guys that are gold pumpers but are also going to embrace Bitcoin, right? So there are some overlaps there. But the overall theme is anti-government, anti-Federal Reserve, anti-stock market, right? Remember, you're better off with the establishment. I don't like the Fed. There's no one that's been more critical and vocal about the criminal Jewish mafia-run Federal Reserve and financial industry than me. There's no one that's been more critical. Okay? Because I actually come out and name who's behind it all. But the fact is that they run the show. Okay? You can't defeat them. You got to play the game. All right? And if you think you can defeat them by putting your assets into gold and silver and buying real estate in Uruguay, you're in for a rude awakening. You're going to lose your ass. So I wanted to address the aspect of Doug Casey that I have not addressed before. Doug Casey, of course, is a copy editor. For those of you who don't know what copy editing is, it's basically a scam industry that gives you fluff words and is a psychological play. It doesn't really give you any valuable content. It's a bunch of crap. It's a huge industry. It's kind of a boiler room. But these people that are employed in this industry are craftful in word games. and they are able to write pieces that appear to have content, but the real content is not there. It's missing. It's very superficial. It's garbage. Anyway, Doug Casey runs a copy editing firm. He calls it a research firm, but it's really a copy editing and investment promotional firm, stock promoting firm, similar to many other individuals in that network. So what Doug Casey does, he sells advertisements, and he also pumps guys like Peter Schiff. He interviews these guys, makes it look like, oh, wow, they're being interviewed. Okay, well, what do they have to say? To make it, they're basically creating shit media, trash media, and they're pumping it all over the place, making it look like people want to hear what these guys have to say, making it look like they're relevant. You see, that's what they're doing. But in addition to that, because I didn't really delve into Doug Casey, but what I found out is Doug Casey, he lives in Uruguay, right? He lives in Uruguay, and he's been promoting all these real estate investments in South America. As a matter of fact, Doug Casey was pumping Argentina, the country that's in the toilet getting flushed. He was putting people into Argentinian real estate. He's got a development he's partnering with, and I'm going to go into that in the future, in a place called Salta, in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere, he has these nice pictures. He doesn't tell you the full story. Folks, there's three things that we are certain of in this world. Okay? Now, you all know it's death and taxes. What's the third thing? The third thing is that there is inevitably always going to be a crisis in South America. South America will always have a cycle, a perpetual cycle of hyperinflation. If it's not Argentina now, it will be some other country, right? It was Brazil and Argentina a decade ago, right? You understand? And these are people telling you, Doug Casey, Jeff Berwick, and all these. And Jeff Berwick is also in the real estate sales. He wants to sell you real estate, $50,000 for the cheapest acre that he will sell you, up to, I believe, over $100,000. He wants to sell you for an acre of land in Chile. Are you crazy? What? So these are guys that are trying to tell you that America is going to collapse and Canada is going to collapse and move to South America. Yeah. Wake up, people. South America has historically been a place of very, very severe economic, political turmoil, and it will continue to be a place that experiences economic and political turmoil. Okay? So, anyway, I'm going to go into more detail about these losers in the future, but I want you to consider this as a closing thought. Why do you think that Doug Casey and Jeff Berwick are living outside of America? Well, when they pump to you, I don't know if Berwick's involved in penny stock, gold miners and silver miners, but I know Doug Casey is, and these guys are getting paid to promote these things, and they're living outside of the U.S., so they're not subject to the types of disclosures and regulatory oversight that someone living in North America would be. So when you get scammed, when you realize that you bought an acre of land from Jeff Berwick for 70 grand in Chile, that's in the middle of nowhere, okay? And keep in mind, 70 grand will buy you some pretty nice real estate in a lot of really nice areas in America, okay? This is Chile, okay? When you realize that you got scammed, you can't go after these guys. They live in Uruguay. They live in Chile. You can't go after them. You understand? They don't have to give you the same types of disclosures. You see? That's why they're living overseas. So I'll get into this in more detail in the future. But for now, I just wanted to give you a heads up on these, I guess, 3 or 4 issues that I've been wanting to talk about. And I wanted to just go ahead and put something out now, unrehearsed, unscripted, so I could get something out before I forgot and before other things hit my plate.